Hey guys, it's Justin with Shock Therapy once again, and we are here to show you how to install Fox RC2 shocks on a brand new XP Pro. The Fox RC2's are a larger diameter shock than the original Walker Evans. They also have more adjustability with a dual compression adjuster with high and low speed, as well as rebound. The RC2's are also built for racing with the highest quality plating and components so that they will last the life of your car. Some of the things you can expect out of these RC2's, besides the adjustability that they give you, is a much more plush ride quality, but still having much more bottom-out resistance than the original shocks. This translates to a smooth ride through all the chop and chatter and no bottoming with the biggest jumps and G-outs. These RC2's come factory with our dual rate spring kit as well as internal shock modifications or ride improvement system. This means that they come right out of the box, the settings ready to go. You just install them, set the ride heights, and run it. This installation should take you under an hour, so let's throw this over to Mitch, have him show us how to put it on.
What's up guys, it's Mitch and we're here today to show you how to install the RC2's on the XP Pro. Let's get to it.
The first step is to jack the car up to where the tires are just off the ground. Make sure that you use jack stands for safety at all times. Remove the factory hardware so that you can take the shocks off of the car. Start with the lower hardware first, top hardware second. Remove one shock at a time as they are side specific. Now install the driver front RC2, starting with the upper hardware first. Make sure you choose the correct shock. The reservoir should be facing the firewall. Now install the lower hardware. Leave all of the hardware loose at this time so that you can adjust ride heights accordingly later in the installation. Repeat these steps on the opposite front shock. With both front shocks installed and the hardware left loose, remove the jack stands and lower the car. Now you can raise the rear of the car to where the tires are just off the ground. Use jack stands at all times for safety. Remove the driver rear shock first, starting with the lower hardware. With the factory shock removed, you can now install the new RC2. The rear shocks are not side specific. Install the RC2 with the upper hardware first, lower hardware second, leaving all of the hardware loose at this time to make ride height adjustments later on. Repeat these steps on the opposite rear shock. Both rear shocks installed but the hardware left loose, lower the back of the car onto the ground. Next, you must settle the suspension. This cannot be done by pushing up and down on the car. You must drive it back and forth, hitting the brakes and the accelerator to settle the suspension. On the last stop, come to a rolling stop without hitting the brakes. With the driver remaining in the vehicle, measure the front ride height. This is measured from the ground to the lower control arm mount closest to the firewall. With factory tires, the front should be 14.5 inches of ride height. The rear is measured from the ground to the bottom of the skid plate at the center of the car. This should be 14 inches. If your ride heights are accurate, you're good to tighten all the hardware and adjust crossovers. But if your ride height is a little bit low or a little bit high, this is when you should adjust it accordingly to match our ride height numbers. Always lower the preload collar to raise the vehicle and raise the preload collar to lower the vehicle. Ride heights are very important. Make sure you take your time to get this right. A good rule of thumb is moving the preload collar in the front of the vehicle 1/2 inch will raise it or lower it 1 inch. Preload collars in the rear of the vehicle are almost 1-to-1. 1 inch movement equals 1 inch of ride height. Your RC2s have a baseline adjustment into all clickers coming straight from us. With ride heights established, you can now check crossover ring locations. The gap between the bottom of the crossover rings and the top of the spring divider in the front of the vehicle should be 1 to 1.5 inches. In the rear of the vehicle, the gap from the bottom of the crossover to the top of the spring divider should be 2.5 inches. Your stand-in driver can now leave, and you are able to tighten all of the shock hardware. Once your hardware is completely tight, your installation is now complete.
Mitch, thank you so much for showing us how to install those RC2s, and as you can see by what Mitch showed us, it was very easy to do. Keep in mind that ride heights are a moving target. As you add accessories to the car will lower down, and you should adjust the ride height accordingly. Keep the ground clearance set to the numbers that we suggest, and the car will always ride amazing. As with all of our spring kits, they're made in the USA and warranted for life, but since they are brand new, they will take a set over the first 100 to 200 miles, so once they do, make sure you adjust the ride height accordingly. Another advantage of these Fox RC2s is that they are compatible with an IQS system. This is an electronically adjustable compression system that allows you to turn the shock up and down from inside the car multiple times per minute as you're driving it. If you want the ultimate in adjustability, then contact us for the Fox IQS upgrade on your RC2s. As always, if you have any questions about this kit, give us a call at 623-217-4959, or for other products we offer, go to our website, shocktherapist.com.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Yes.
After we're done videoing this, are you going to delete it again? Are you going to lose all the footage?
Maybe. At this point, with the rate you're going, it would be lucrative, so I don't have to rewatch and live this. Fambaruski, Fambaruski. Mitch, you dropped your nut.
I hate when I drop my nuts.
I haven't dropped a nut in so long.
My name's Chase. I'm sad.
I'm sad.
I was gonna get a tattoo of a cartoon character, Mitch. You know what character I was gonna get?
Sad.
Droopy the dog. Boo boo gee goo.
Way to go, Bryce.